Hey guys, Jim Roese here with Sound Pro Live. Today we've got something really interesting for you. We have a copy of version 3.0 Venue software that we've installed in my SC48 here, and we're going to show you some of the cool new features that Avid just added to this. The software just came out a little while ago. Many of you might not even know it exists at this point, but it added some really cool features to the console. The four major things that it added were it added a channel count increase on the console from 48 to 64 channels. It added the ability running Pro Tools 10 and a firmware upgrade on the console to do 32 channel multi-track record over Firewire instead of 18. It added 20 more plug-in slots, so now the plug-in count on this console is doubled from 20 to 40. And it added one other feature that I'm going to do right here, which is actually one of my favorite features of the new upgrades here. What it's done here, let me put this thing in config mode. When you open your edit page, you'll notice now on an SC48 there's the option for 16 auxes and 8 variable groups, 24 bus. When the console reboots here for us, the SC48 is now a 24 aux console. For those of you running front of house all the time, it's not that big of a deal. For those of you running monitors, it can be. In the age of in-ears, where there's so many people running stereo ears and auxes and reverbs and stuff like that going on, it turns into, it's really easy to eat up 16 auxes. I use one of these consoles for Blondie monitors, and when I'm running this console, I have 16 auxes out of 16 auxes used in my show. And I was really hoping they had a little bit more, because I do some finagling with matrix stuff to try to get extra stuff. Now I have that available option. Now I have, if I roll here into my buses page, you'll notice, just like on the other consoles in the Venue line, there are variable groups here, which gives me the ability to now do 24 aux mixes out of this console, which is amazing. A couple of the other little features they've added in this, one of them is the ability to jump fast to your inputs page when you're doing things and you want to get to your channel count. All you have to do now is on a select button for a channel, say we're going to pick our ride channel, you just double click the button and it automatically jumps the screen into the inputs page. Another little feature that they've added in here, which is kind of interesting. Up until now, when you multi-select, you can multi-select channels in here. But now if you click on the multi-select button again, it goes back into single mode and it deletes the others. That's a helpful feature. One of the other really cool features that some people aren't aware of is in this console, if you have multiple channels that you're trying to EQ the same, say you have 5 vocal mics, and you have your techs work with you and you EQ one channel and you get your Beta 58A sound the way you want it to, a lot of times you want to copy and paste that EQ over. In this console before, every time you go to copy and paste that over, it copies your EQ but not your high pass filter. That was a separate entity. Now, if you notice when you click here for copy, it's copy EQ and high pass filter settings. So now the console, when you copy your EQ over, carries your high pass over with it, so you don't have to do that finagling going back in your channels and re-rolling that over onto them also. So that's a really good feature on here too. One of the other features that's kind of neat in here is the last one I'll get into in this little video, so I don't talk for 4 hours like I normally can, is if you go to your options page here again and you go into events, those of you that are familiar with the console, most of the time, if you want to do a tap tempo on this console, a lot of people aren't carrying external tap devices. What you'll do is you'll trigger a function key, and if I usually take function 8, and I set that up, as you can see, as a tap tempo inside of my for my delays and stuff like that as the console clock time. It's really easy to do. The only problem with doing that is if for some reason you don't hit your function key, and say you got to mute all on mute group 8. That's something just waiting to happen, and in everyone's career, at least once you're going to do it. I mean, I'm a victim of it, I know that. So it's kind of it works, and it's kind of a cool feature that you can pick up these functions, but you just try not to assign that mute group into that channel or that function key just to avoid it happening. So now what they've done is they've given us the option that now if you go into your, if you set up a event as a tap tempo, now in your add function here, they give you the user switch. And by adding the user switch, you can make this user switch on the bottom of the console here become whatever you need it to be. So at this point now, if you watch the screen, I'm doing my tap tempos from the user button, which not only is it not give you a problem with trying to hit a mute button by accident, but it's in a much more convenient location when you're mixing your show. These are a few of the functions, the cool functions, I think, of what they've added with this software. I'd like to show you the Pro Tools Record, but I don't have a version of Pro Tools 10 here. Also, in order to utilize the 32 channels, there's a firmware upgrade that goes with it too, to the console and the FireWire driver inside of it to make it all function for you. But now this console can actually do a 32 channel Pro Tools Record, which again steps this whole console up into another dimension. They added some features to the mix rack consoles, but I would think in the general public of everything, you wonder what's going to happen at this point, because now a bunch of the features that you could gain by moving up to mix rack, this console has for the general public as an all-in-one unit. So let's see what that does for mix rack, you know. But as for this console, it's moved it up into a world that's taken it from being a smaller, you know, compared with an M7 or compared with the least expensive line consoles. Now this thing is comparable more in the lines of working against like a PM5D or things like that, because most of the feature set that's in this is in that now for about a third of the price. So now we have a console that I think is this is a great upgrade. This brought it up to another whole place. Jim Roese, Sound Pro Live. I hope this is something you guys can use. The software upgrade is available from Avid. It's like $150 to buy the software upgrade for your console. If you bought your console within a certain amount of time, I don't know how far back it goes right now, but I do know that they have complimentary upgrades for those people that are new SC48 users. Other than that, it's definitely worth picking up, moving your console up to another level. Thanks a lot.